So, Dr. Cali Estes, I have to say, one of the things I like the most in life is to travel. And every time I travel, there always is a wild story that I can pull from the travel. But I've seen so many videos on, maybe I'm being followed on Instagram, YouTube, Shorts about crazy things that happen in airports. And you just have a book that just came out, Airport Antics.
Yes, Daniel, thanks for having me on your show first. And yes, so I travel all over the place for a living. I think I was in 26 airports last year alone, just traveling, seeing clients, doing my thing. And I would always post my stories of people I would see on Facebook. The guy working out in the muscle shirt, the girl that's drunk, the couple that hooked up in the lot, the lounge, that kind of stuff. And a friend of mine called and said, I want to publish the book. And I thought, okay, this is my seventh book, whatever. And next thing I know, it's in Library of Congress, it's in Barnes and Noble, it's everywhere. So it's a book about the 100 funny stories of people I've seen while I was traveling.
Can you share what is a story that stands out as being so wild or out there? Do you have something?
I think the the workout guy that was like 25, that was like all muscle tattooed. He's got his tank top on and his gray sweatpants. He's a good looking guy, and he's doing push ups and squats. And all these middle aged women just started congregating like closer and closer and closer, and they're all staring at him, and they're drinking their drink, and they're watching, and they're all trying to interact for his attention. And it was so funny because he was the typical gym guy that was kind of like clueless that all these women were there. He was just doing his thing, and they were all fighting to get his attention, and it was just funny. So that was one of the funny ones. There was a lady that was funny too, who didn't know how to use her phone. So she's got her phone on, and it's, black because she doesn't have anybody there, and she's yelling in the phone, and she can't figure out how to turn it on. And then it's ringing and she can't turn it off. And she's screaming at it, in the phone while she's walking, which is so funny. It's like people do the weirdest stuff when they travel.
It's I don't want to say like a culture of travel. When I used to travel a lot, I would see a lot of the same people at different places, at different like bars inside of the airports. I started to get to know on certain routes or like certain routes that okay, these people might be there because they're also traveling for work. I found it very fascinating. I was on a plane one time when I used to travel through Vegas a lot, and I noticed going to Vegas on a Friday evening was just is like they were partying, drinking. I've seen some crazy stuff on a plane, but coming home on a Sunday is like very depressing, and everyone's like sad, and maybe they lost all their money or they made bad decisions. I don't know. Maybe they're just hungover. But what about you? Were there certain places that you would travel to? Either A, you'd see the same people, or were there certain flights that you go on that you would just notice things?
For me, it was more by airline carrier, like Spirit and Frontier and Southwest had the best fodder for the book because it's a cheap airline. Everybody's fighting, everybody's arguing, everybody wants more than what they've paid for. So that was funnier to me. But in terms of the same people, no, because I don't really do the same route. I'm Miami to LA a lot, Miami to Philadelphia a lot, but not necessarily the same day or same time. So that would be a no, but the same type of person, yes. There's always the loud person on their phone doing a business deal. There's always the drunk person. There's always the person who lost half their stuff in the security screening. There's always that person. It's just a different person when I travel.
It's like these are characters in a movie that you could plug in and just change the names or change the way they look. It is fascinating. I that's one part of the fun of traveling is people watching for me, whether it's getting in the airport or even right now I'm in Paris, for example, and I go to somewhere like you're saying, there's the person, there's this type of traveler doing this, there's this type of travel, this loud traveler, then this traveler that, does this. And it is quite funny.